Welcome to the Real Talk with Me podcast. This is a completely genuine, unedited conversation, and I'm so grateful to welcome our guest, Court from Connection Coin. Thank you for joining the conversation.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Meep, this is so exciting. I'm so happy that the Digital Wellness Collective brought us together. Court, I'd love for you to share your experience and the amazing work that you're doing with Connection Coin.
Yes, so I guess I'll start at the beginning. Connection Coin really came out of a pretty personal experience of mine. A few years back, I unfortunately found out that my wife at the time was having an affair. And a day or so after getting that really tough news, I was having a cup of coffee with one of my best friends. And, we were just sitting there talking about life, everything I was going through. And he pulls out this $2 bill and he says, Court, I know you're going through it. I know this is really tough on you. And here's this $2 bill I want you to have. He said, somebody gave me this not too long ago at work when I was going through kind of a tough time, and it's my turn to give it to you. So we had this really kind of nice special moment, just me thanking him for giving it to me and him telling me, that it's going to be my turn to pass it on to somebody else real soon. So I put it in my wallet and candidly kind of forgot about it a little bit. So fast forward sometime later, and I was actually dating my now wife, Natalie, and I was coming out of the grocery store and I saw this young girl kind of in her mid 20s compared to me. I say young, I'm in like 41 years old, but I saw her sitting there and I could just tell she was upset. But, like most people, I was busy. I had hands full of groceries. So I just walked to my car, putting my groceries away. And just something told me, like, don't leave without seeing how she's doing. So I went back and I said, hey, I'm Court. I just couldn't help but notice you're upset. Do you mind if I sit down? So she let me sit down and we started talking, and she told me that she had just lost her job at McDonald's and was basically stuck there. She didn't have enough money to get on the bus to go home, and her sister was going to be picking her up, but in like 2 hours when she got off work. So she literally had nowhere to go and was just kind of in a tough spot. And in that moment, I actually remembered the $2 bill, and I had it in my wallet still from that months and months earlier. And actually, I think it was about a year or so before. And I pulled it out and I started telling her the story about when I got it, that I was in a really tough place. Just found out this really terrible news. And I just told her, I said, what you don't realize is that there are people like me that are total strangers that are cheering for you, that want you to have an amazing life. And I gave her the $2 bill and she just broke down crying. And, she's like, Court, I just can't believe that, a total stranger stopped and saw me and just like asked how I was doing. And I gave her, I think I had like, 18, $20 on me, and I gave her some money to take the bus. And she's like, Court, that money is great and thank you for that. But she's like, I will never, ever forget, you stopping and talking to me and like hearing my story and giving me this $2 bill. She's like, I'm going to pass this on one day. So she stood up, we were saying goodbyes. She was crying. And at this point, I'm crying too. So I found myself hugging this total stranger. And it was one of those hugs, when you haven't seen like a friend or family member for years and you meet him at like, a reunion or you finally get together. We just hugged and had this like amazing embrace standing there in front of the grocery store, two total strangers just crying and supporting each other. So when I got back to my car, I sat down and I just kind of broke down and I started crying after this amazing, like really authentic, magical moment of life. And the days and the weeks following, I wanted to know how she was doing and what she was up to. And I was really curious and kind of wanted to hear when and who she gave the $2 bill to. But I knew that I didn't have any way to keep in touch with her or check in or anything. And it made me start to think more about social media and everything going on in our lives and how it's supposed to connect us with one another. But I don't personally feel connected on all these platforms. And they just don't provide me with the way that I want to, share moments of life like this that might be a moment of somebody needing support or a moment of me wanting to encourage somebody else. So that's really where Connection Coin came from. I said, I want to create a way for us to connect with each other, but in real life, like share those moments where you're standing in line in Starbucks, and instead of just sitting on your phone and looking down at it, and checking the weather or checking your news feed on a social media account, you turn to the person next to you and have a conversation, or that person who is a really close friend of yours that you always talk to, but like, how do you connect with them and thank them for being an amazing friend for 5 or 10 or years or longer. So the whole purpose of Connection Coin is it's actually based on coins that have a unique PIN number and a positive saying or phrase on them. So if I give you a coin, you can go to the website and log the fact that you received it from me, and the PIN number is unique to that coin. So then you have it, and now you can give it to, like I said, the stranger on the elevator, or buy the person a cup of coffee at Starbucks, and now they have it, and they can share the story of when and how they received it. And now you can watch and track the coin as it gets passed from person to person. You can see on a map where the coins go. You can see all the stories of the connections taking place, and then obviously have the opportunity to connect with the people who give and receive the same coin as you, or other coins that are being passed. And really the goal is to build a community of people who want to connect again in real life and support one another in that way.
Wow, just so beautiful and moving
Thank
to.
you.
It's just amazing how you had an in-person interaction and how you created a solution to keep it going and use technology as a tool to facilitate more amazing, genuine connection like this. So beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's to your point, I think we know technology is here, right? Technology is not going away. So I wanted to leverage some of the cool parts of social media platforms and technology itself, but in a way that's going to, if nothing else, inspire us to connect again in real life with each other. And I think more importantly, start to see that beautiful social capital that comes when two people get together, and be able to track, you and me having a cup of coffee and me giving you a coin, and then you giving it to somebody else a week or a month later, and then them giving it to somebody else. I mean, that's going to continue to pass from person to person. And as a result, you and me meeting and having a moment together can impact 10, 20, 30, 50, 1,000 people, across states, across countries. And I think that's the part that I really want people to start to get reminded of again, is just how powerful we can be when we come together.
Absolutely. And powerful is such a great word to describe this because each individual has the power to have this beautiful ripple effect of kindness and compassion throughout the world.
Mm-hmm.
And having these coins as a tangible tool that then leverages technology to track that impact, I think is so amazing. And I just am beyond inspired by what you've created with this.
Oh, thank you so much. I love that.
Yes, it's like a ripple effect of kindness in the world. It's so beautiful.
Exactly. I think of it as like this beautiful, because the coins are blue. So I think of it as like this beautiful blue wave that's going to slowly coat the entire earth of just like love and positivity and support from person to person. That's like the vision I have when I think about what I'm trying to create with Connection Coin, with amazing support like this.
Wow, I love that. And I think the connection to blue and water is also very meaningful because similar to water, how it flows, it really goes everywhere and it can be, a force that unites us as people and a community. That's amazing.
So true.
So each coin has a really awesome saying. Some that I have in front of me right now are you can, you will, thank you, be awesome to a stranger. What helped you get inspired for putting these really thoughtful sayings on the coins?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think the hardest part about curating some of the phrases or language is I didn't want it to be this sort of thing where, um, you know, anybody was coming into a connection and kind of talking down to another person, or
Mm,
it being like, hey, I'm in a good place. I can tell you're not. So I want to help you. And that's why it was really more about creating moments of positivity and love and lifting each other up regardless of our circumstances. And so the starter pack that you're kind of referencing has 8 different phrases to help people curate different types of moments. Like you said, it might be a thank you moment, or for instance, I had the coin that says "Be awesome to a stranger." So the other day I was at Starbucks, going through the drive-through, and I just bought the person behind me's coffee, which was like $3, and I left the coin that says "Be awesome to a stranger." And to me, that was like a super fun way of sharing that coin. Or I was at Whole Foods, and the cashier was really, really nice to everybody. I was just kind of watching as he interacted with everybody coming through his line, and I had the spreading positivity coin. So I just said, hey, like, you are such a beacon of light and you're so nice. And everybody that leaves, after you check them out is like smiling. And I just want you to continue to, spread that positivity. And I gave them that coin, and they came around the counter and gave me a hug and just kind of looked at the coin and looked at me and was like, thank you. Sometimes I just don't know if people notice it or not. And if it's worth, being nice to everybody, or if nobody really cares. I'm like, oh, they care. You might not notice it, but you're changing people's lives just by how you act. So for them, it was like the perfect moment of us spreading positivity. And I'm excited. I'm working on some different iterations where the next line of coins isn't going to have a specific phrase on it. It's going to be more just about the general concept of connection coin, about spreading positivity, love, connectedness. So if you don't want coins with just exact phrases, we're going to have other kinds of coins that you can give as well, which I'm really excited about.
wow, this is so exciting. And I think what's also special about the unique phrases is, for me personally, it opened my mind to all of the different applications of taking initiative and
Hmm.
challenging ourselves to share that positivity. Because, like that cashier said, a lot of times we think, does anybody care? Does
Right.
anybody notice?
Exactly.
However, it impacts the whole ripple effect of the world, which is
Hmm.
so mind blowing. So, this is so cool and exciting.
Thank you. Yeah. And to that end, I think, sometimes we just need a little reminder or a little push. And, when I have a coin, because I try to keep one with me at all times, if I have a thank you coin in my pocket, it kind of gives me that mental awareness like, okay, I'm looking for a moment in my day to thank somebody for something. And it could be a total stranger, or like I gave a thank you coin to a coworker of mine that I've known for over a decade. And I said, you know what? He's been a huge part of my life and always does so much for me. And I just don't know if I've ever really fully thanked him, like in a meaningful way. So I just went up and gave him that coin. And we had this like amazing moment. He got filled up in his eyes and was like, oh man, I love you. I'm always here for you. I got your support. And again, had this amazing, awesome hug and embrace. And I probably wouldn't have shared that with him if I didn't have that little pattern interrupt, having that coin. Like you said, that awareness or intention kind of inspired me to just say, I'm going to go thank somebody for what they've done for me. And that's the part that I really enjoy about it. Hope more people will start to feel themselves.
Wow, absolutely. And part of what inspires me so much about this is that empathy aspect. So,
Hmm.
the fact that you said thank you to somebody that you've had a meaningful relationship with, but you're now connecting on that emotional understanding level and establishing a deeper moment of your relationship. So, I certainly extend this meep challenge to everyone to, share that moment and connect with people on that really personal level, because it truly has an impact.
It really, really does. And one thing I'll share is, it's amazing. We just never know what somebody has going on, or,
Mm,
what is or isn't happening in their lives. And I had a moment where I gave a coin to a total stranger. And we had this like really positive, happy, loving kind of like, she was smiling. I was like, man, this woman's amazing. And she shared the connection and was really positive. And then a couple of days later, she shared with me, she sent me a private message and was like, Court, a lot of people don't know this, but a few days after I saw you, I got home and was really close to taking my own life. And she's like, I obviously started thinking about some of my friends and family, and I thought of you, this stranger who gave me this, coin. And I'm obviously not trying to take responsibility for her, being here, the decision she made. But in that moment of like real despair and being really down, she thought about a connection from a stranger. And to me, that's such like a powerful reminder that we have no idea what other people are dealing with or going through, because most of us only put on the smile and, the positive slight on things. And it's just so inspiring to just say, I'm going to continue to be that beacon of positivity, love, and light and support, regardless of whether or not I know what's happening for people, because it might be the thing they need most, even if I don't know it. And I think to me, that's a really, really inspirational way of us all trying to connect with each other, is just like you said earlier, just by being that beacon of positivity, regardless of if we know people need it or not.
Wow, I have chills.
Yeah, it's emotional stuff because it's people's lives, and we can have a huge impact. Like you said, that ripple, and I might connect with somebody here, and that coin might make it to 7 or 8 different people, and then change somebody's life in Seattle, Washington, that I've never met and will never met, but I might have an impact on them because I gave a coin to somebody in, South Carolina or in, Boston or something like that. And that's the beauty of the human experience, that we're all tied together in that way.
Absolutely. And I think another point that you mentioned about, it's not all about being positive all the time. We never know what people are going through. However, we're all human and we're all one. So without darkness, there is no light. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's really important to empower each other as just a community of people, whether it's a stranger or somebody you know, being that courageous force to go into the darkness and turn on the light, I think is a really important concept that is easily distracted from with social media. So I'm just so inspired by the impact that you're creating with this and how we can use social media as a tool to really educate and drive awareness to the power that each of us has, and having a tool like the connection coin to really help us take that first step is so important.
It's so true. And the interesting thing, like you said, is taking that first step is one of the amazing things I've heard, is that a lot of people actually struggle with um, the ability to go up to even a friend, and most definitely a stranger potentially, and having a moment of connection. And a number of people are like, wow, Court, because I'm always on my phone and I, communicate with all my friends via text, barely in person, or via the different social media platforms. I've had a few people like, wow, I actually feel like I've lost the skill set of just talking to people face to face, because I never do it, right? We avoid it at all costs. We go to the grocery store and we go to the self checkout, we order our food online and then pick it up, without even interacting with the cashier. We go through the drive through window, all these things. And I think it's amazing that, I definitely believe there's something to be said for getting back to actually face to face, in person connections, because there is so much magic that can come from that when we remove it from being done on a screen or on a phone or a tablet or something like that. So I'm really excited to see what happens and the energy people start to see and feel, when they get back to just connecting in real life. Actually, a friend of mine, as I mentioned earlier, the starter pack comes with 8 coins. So one day he was like, you know what, I'm going to go and give out 8 coins in one afternoon. So he went around Charlotte, North Carolina, and actually videotaped him and just kind of what was his experience like giving out coins. And he was like bursting with energy and excitement afterwards. He's like, man, I feel like I'm on drugs. He's like, it is so fun, just interacting with people. And I forgot what that felt like. So that's the stuff I'm really, really excited to see um, people feel again, is just what happens when we put our phone down for a second and just have a conversation with, a friend or a coworker, a family member, a stranger.
Absolutely. And it's so energizing once you get over that initial hump. However, sometimes the fear after not doing that can be so overwhelming.
Hmm.
What advice do you have to somebody that, hasn't taken initiative to speak to a stranger and give them a connection coin? How do you suggest overcoming that fear?
It's a great question. And I would say, if nothing else, the connection coin itself can serve as your explanation. Um, you know what I mean? In terms of saying, just like, hey, I know this is kind of awkward, but I really wanted to give this to you. And then they're immediately going to say, like, well, what is it? Because when you go to give somebody, a little blue coin that they've never seen before, it in and of itself is going to spark a conversation, if that makes sense. And so the hardest part is really just getting over that little mental roadblock or hurdle of being like, this is going to be weird or awkward. And candidly, I mean, I'm the person who started Connection Coin, and I've had people that, total strangers, I've gone up to give a coin, and they've been like, whatever this guy's selling, I don't want it. And they want nothing to do with me. Right. So that's just like, we're conditioned to, people coming up to us is just not, so I wouldn't be walking down the street, and come up to somebody from behind and try to give them a coin. But if you're standing, like I said, in line, if you're, waiting at the DMV, whatever it is, if you're, studying in the study hall, and you see somebody else studying, you might just go up and be like, hey, like, I saw you're studying for, the same exam I am. Like, hope you do a great job. Like, just wanted to give you this, I'll be thinking about you, pass this on to somebody else, you want to lift up and support also, good luck. And I will tell you, after giving out lots of coins myself, I have been blown away by how many people I've given them to that have gotten emotional by me just giving them a coin. And I think that comes from, one of our basic human needs of just wanting to be seen by other people. And I think it'll take just stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit, trying it and doing it once or twice or, a few times. And all it will take is that one interaction you have that will come the more coins you give out, that'll just give you the inspiration to give out more, and to not be deterred by the one or two people that don't want to receive it. Because I can guarantee you, for any one or two people that isn't interested in receiving a connection coin, there's a 10,000 that would love to have somebody say hi to them or wish them a great day, or just want them to have an amazing moment. So just keep going if it doesn't work out initially, for sure.
Absolutely. And it really seems like the benefits are so worth it. And when I have to be confronted with fear, which is applicable to all aspects of life, I always try to remind myself that fear is an acronym for false evidence appearing real.
Oh,
So if
wow.
there's,
I
yeah,
love
it's a
that.
game changer. So I'm really excited to face my fears and embrace, connection with these connection coins. And I'm excited to share our experience with the Meet Motivator team, sharing the connection coins within their communities and hearing what stories come about. So I'm really looking forward to sharing the ripple effects that we're going to be creating through the Meep Challenge community.
Yes, I love that.
Yes, and thank you again for sharing us and supplying us with these amazing tools. I'm so excited to be kicking off the connections in New York with the Digital Wellness Collective community, which is how Court and I first got connected virtually.
Yes.
So it will be a wonderful experiment to see these amazing things coming to life. And I'm just so excited to be aware of our impact, understanding of emotions as people, and really experiencing what that feels like on a human level. Because, like
Mm.
you mentioned before, it's a human fundamental need, and this is a tool to help us embrace courage and take that action.
Mm. I love that. It's so true.
Amazing. So, Court, if somebody receives a connection coin,
Hmm.
can you share a little bit about what they do once they get one?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, very simply, they just go to connectioncoin.com, and the website is actually on the coin itself. And we've made the site hopefully pretty user friendly. So, it just walks you through the prompts. So, at the very top, it has a little button that says received a coin. Click here. So, if you click that button, then that allows you to enter in the coin number because obviously every coin, like I said, we want to know where it's going. And it doesn't have GPS coordinates or anything like that. It's only tracking is when you say where the coin was received, if that makes sense. So it kind of places a little dot when you're like, yep, I got this coin up in New York City, and it'll track that connection in that space and drop a little spot on the map. And as you share the story of, I got this, like you said, at a digital wellness collective event, you can take a picture with the person who gave you the coin and share the story of what it meant to you. And then once you post that connection, now you have the coin to give to the next person. And when they receive it, same thing. You just say, hey, please go to the website, share the story of you getting the coin, and then be sure to pass it on to the next person. So basically, every person that receives a coin goes in, shares a story of when and how and where they got it, if they want to share a picture or a video, and they post that. And then that way the coins get tracked as they move from person to person. And one of my favorite things is you can pull up the map and see the coins as they kind of move around and go from person to person. And we've had some already make them over to Spain and up to Canada, out on the West Coast. So that's been really, really cool to see. Some people have taken them on airplanes and then given them to somebody else, which has been really, really fun from that perspective, which I think is really, really cool. Like you said, to see that blue wave of positivity spreading, and hopefully it'll continue to make it to more and more countries.
Absolutely. Connection coin is global. I love
Yes.
it. Amazing. So if somebody receives a connection coin, they register it online, take a photo, and then if they do decide to post on social media, where can they tag you?
Yeah, so we always love, obviously, the other platforms because that's a great way for people to find out about us. So we are at Connection Coin on Instagram, and we're also on Facebook, and we try to do a great job of sharing some of those awesome posts, and the stories of the people on those places as well, just so individuals can see what they're missing out by not being on Connection Coin and giving and receiving those coins. Because the fun part is, on Connection Coin, you can't just make a post. You can't go in there and take a picture of your burrito and be like, hashtag burrito lunch. The only posts are people connecting. So the only way a connection or a post takes place is when a coin is given from one person to another. So that's the fun part is, as you scroll through the feed, it's all when people connect with other individuals. And to me, that's one of the beautiful parts about that platform is kind of we've curated it to only highlight or celebrate moments of connection and really nothing else.
I love it. And I also like to call moments of connection meep moments.
Yes,
Meep, meep,
meet
meep.
moments. Exactly.
Yes, so I invite everyone that's listening to accept the meep challenge, to embrace meet moments and connect with people and leverage connection coins as a tool. And please, please, please share your experience because we want to hear about it. And I'm so excited to see the map feature on connectioncoin.com to see how our meet moments spread throughout the world.
Exactly. Yeah. And I would say to your question earlier, if you're interested, just buy a starter pack. It comes with 8 coins and give them out and see how it feels. And if you like it, you can get a refill pack and get another 8. Or take what I call the one drink challenge, because you can get a monthly subscription of 8 coins. And most of us, either it be coffee or wine or beer or kombucha or juice or smoothie, most of us have something like that we get on a fairly regular basis. So you might buy a cup of coffee every day on your way to work, or get a juice or a smoothie, or go out with your friends and have a glass of wine. And so I would say, give up one of those per month. So instead of having 30 cups of coffee, have 29, And that more than covers the monthly subscription. It's about $5 a month to get another pack of 8 coins. And that way you can take the challenge of having that intention of every month, I'm going to try to connect with or have a moment with at least 8 people. And we did 8 because in that way it's 2 a week, is the simplest way of doing it. So you're like, all right, each week I'm going to connect with 2 people that I wouldn't have otherwise connected and see the magic that I'm going to create as a result of, one less cup of coffee. So hopefully you try it out, give out some coins, and then take the one drink challenge and make this just part of your life and join the Connection Coin community.
Absolutely. And I love the sound of small, actionable goals.
Yes, exactly. And when you just keep a coin in your pocket or your purse or in your car, it makes it really easy. I've had a couple times where for some reason I forgot to put it in my pocket, but I keep coins in my little uh, console in my car. So I was like, hold on right there. And I'd like run out to my car, grab it, and then like run back in, to the Starbucks or the grocery store or wherever to give it to somebody. So keeping them close by makes it super easy.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Court, for taking the time to share your amazing work with Connection Coin. And I'm so excited to see how we have ripple effects in the world. Thanks again.
Yes, thank you so much. And we're going to continue to create all these awesome meet moments together, which I can't wait to see. So thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast.
Yes, likewise. Meep out.